and welcome to our English news edition broadcast to you from Canal, Algérie. First, to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, addresses a message of condolences to the family of the late artist Shafia Boudraa, who passed away on Sunday at the age of 92. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives the Hydrocarbons Minister of the Republic of Congo and the current President of the OPEC Conference, Bruno John Richard Itwa. And later on, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saeed Chingreha, pays a working and inspection visit to the 2nd Military Region in Oran Province. And finally, the social situation is boiling in Morocco, with disgruntled people protesting against the precarious living conditions and the Makhzen regime's failure to get the Western support regarding the Western Saharan file. Good evening, those were today's top stories. First, now today's news, and following the death of one of Algeria's most iconic movie stars, Shafia Boudraa, known for her role La Aini, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, addressed a message of condolences to her family, in which he hailed her long and rich career, praying Allah Almighty to welcome her in his vast paradise. Later in the day, Shafia Boudraa was buried at Al Alia Cemetery here in Algiers in the presence of her family, prominent figures in the cinema realm, and her fans and lovers. It is with great sadness that we receive the death of the famous actress Shafia Boudraa. This prominent figure, whose real name is Atiqa, passed away on Sunday at the age of 92. Let us learn more about the rich career of this Algerian icon with Inez Killu.
With great sorrow and sadness, Shafia Boudraa passed away on Sunday at the age of 92 years old, an immense loss for the Algerian cinema and theatre. An Algerian iconic figure, Shafia Boudraa is a fully fledged artist, a movie and theatre star, born on April 22nd, 1930, in Constantine Province, the capital of eastern Algeria. Shafia Boudraa was known for her main role, known as La Aini, in the historic serial Al-Hariq, directed by Mustafa Badi' and written by the matchless writer Mohammed Deeb. This artist also participated in other works, such as the movie Kharijun An al-Qanun and the movie Bildiyun by the director Rashid Bouchareb. After a long struggle with illness, one of the greatest art figures, Shafia Boudraa, passed away, leaving the Algeria cinema real in mourning 2 days only after the death of her colleague, Ahmed Ben Isa.
لا تنساوش باللي الأرض هذه أرضكم يا ولادي. زدتوا فيها وكبرتوا فيها. واليوم حرمونا منها.
With whom she featured several key roles, in particular the famous movie Kahla Bida, a masterpiece still alive in the collective memory of the Algerian cinema lovers.
In other news, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Sunday the Hydrocarbons Minister of the Republic of Congo and the current President of the OPEC Conference, Bruno John Richard Itwa. The audience took place in the presence of the Energy Minister, Mohamed Arqab, and the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Abdelaziz Khalaf. On the occasion, the Hydrocarbons Minister of the Republic of Congo and the current President of the OPEC Conference, Bruno John Richard Itwa, had this to say to the newsman.
Je voudrais, au nom du Président de la République du Congo,
On behalf of the President and the Prime Minister of Congo, who allowed me to pay this visit and insisted on its importance on account of the long historic ties between the two countries, I would like to express my thanks to the President of the Republic for his availability and commitment displayed during this visit, which denote the quality of our relations in terms of energy and gas. In addition to the political, diplomatic and cultural relations binding the two countries, we are called upon to further promote the relations. We would like to upgrade our energy cooperation, notably with the Senator Company. All in all, we want to set up an energy bridge between the two capitals to the benefit of the two countries and Africa. The meeting with the President was very rich. I learned a lot from him.
In the same context, the Energy Minister, Mohamed Arqab, met with his Congolese counterpart and current president of the OPEC conference, Bruno John Richard Itwa, and reviewed the prospects for the presence of Algerian companies in Congo. The meeting held at the Energy Ministry was later on extended to include delegations from both countries. On the occasion, Mohamed Arqab said that many areas related to the sector of hydrocarbons and energy will be discussed during Itwa's three-day visit to Algeria. This visit, which will be crowned by the signing of several agreements concerning the developments of relations in the hydrocarbon sector. As part of the continuous inspection visits carried out to the different military regions, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saïd Chingriha, paid a working and inspection visit to the 2nd Military Region in Oran Province. The details with Melissa Gabash.
Following the welcoming ceremony, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saïd Chingriha, observed in the presence of Major General Jamal Haj Larousi, commander of the 2nd Military Region, a minute of silence in memory of the late martyr Ahmed Boujnan, whose name is borne by the headquarters. A wreath of flower was led in front of the commemorative stele, and the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, or Fatiha, was recited on his soul and that of our valiant martyrs. The Chief of Staff of the National People's Army then held a meeting with the executives of the 2nd Military Region and delivered the keynote speech, which was followed by a video conference by all units of the region. Lieutenant General Chingriha said that the initiatives made by the high authorities of the state aimed at consolidating national cohesion is a telling evidence of a sincere political will so as to unify the national forces, as announced recently by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, calling on the Algerian youth to join this noble initiative based on the values and principles of our glorious November Revolution. On this occasion, the Chief of Staff also emphasized that the unity and cohesion of the Algerian people is a source of power for Algeria against its enemies, who are working day and night through every possible way and means to disseminate discord and division so as to destabilize our country, adding that these hostile practices can be thwarted by our determination. At the end of the meeting, the region's staff expressed their entire availability to meet all the challenges and threats facing our country so as to preserve its security, stability, and safeguard our national unity.
شكرا لك.
In another development, the Health Minister Abdurrahman bin Bouzid chaired on Sunday the proceedings of the 57th Ordinary Session of the Council of the Arab Health Ministers. This session took place on the sidelines of the proceedings of the 75th session of the General Assembly of the World Health Organization being held in Geneva, Switzerland. During this session, Abdurrahman bin Bouzid made it clear that this meeting is an opportunity to move forward with consultations regarding the setting up of specialized centers in the Arab world. Ahead of the summer season, the civil defense agents are organizing a constant rehearsal so as to be prepared to any nasty scenario that may occur in the beaches and even forests. More details with Sabrin Taferganit.
The civil defense agents of Tipazas province are getting ready for the summer season. A rehearsal was carried out in order to extinguish a fire triggered in forests.
حاليا نهاية عملية الإطفاء عندنا المساحة المحروقة حوالي 30 متر مربع. كان الأملاك المنقذة حوالي 2 هكتار من أشجار اللوز المثمرة. حاليا رانا مغادرين المكان.
Donc le groupe que vous voyez devant vous, c'est le groupe de la colonne mobile.
This mobile group is trained to extinguish fire in the forests. It is composed of 7 lightweight trucks of CCFN type, 2 CCE trucks, a bus, a troop transport truck, as well as 58 agents.
2 camions CCE avec un bus, un camion de transport de troupes.
Talking about beach monitoring and surveillance, a professional team is taking the lead, provided with a jet ski, a way to intervene in the rescuing process immediately.
Donc pour la wilaya de Tipaza, le dispositif prévu pour sécuriser les
Here in Tipaza, the measures introduced to secure the 50 beaches where swimming is allowed are operated by a professional staff made of 146 agents, including 35 divers, 5 doctors, 1 beach inspector officer, 3 control officers, and 102 other agents.
Et sont 2 agents entre chefs de poste et secouristes.
The Civil Defense Directorate is getting ready to welcome the 2022 summer season with the least possible human and material casualties.
On Sunday, a conference on the rights of the Sahrawi people to self-determination was jointly organized by the human rights organization Not Forgotten International and the ambassador of Western Sahara to Algeria, Abdelkader Talib Omar. The members of this non-governmental organization are human rights activists, doctors, and even lawyers. Its president, Janet Lanza, stressed that the Sahrawi people live in the occupied territories under exactions, repression, and daily violations of their rights, despite the fact that the armed struggle started 49 years ago.
It has been my honor to know the Sahrawi people for more than 23 years. I met them in the refugee camps in Tindouf, beginning with a focus on children in the camps. I have met hundreds of Sahrawi families staying in their homes and spent countless times in the refugee camps throughout these years. The Sahrawi women have been incredibly brave as they struggle patiently, persistently for their cause of regaining their freedom.
And finally, the situation is still tense in Morocco with increasingly precarious living conditions. The Moroccan Social Front plans to demonstrate again on the 29th of the current month in Casablanca, a great protest movement to denounce not only their misery and repression, but also the normalization with the Zionist entity. Ines Killu has the details.
A social situation in constant deterioration that has lasted 4 months, and a regime still in a desperate state in a context marked by inflation that keeps growing, an increase in energy prices, and a drop in economic growth, estimated at 0.7% in 2022. Unemployment breaks records and hundreds of companies are out of work. This situation has led the Moroccan Social Front to call for massive participation in the popular movement, scheduled for May 29th in Casablanca, against soaring prices, attacks on individual freedoms, and the normalization agreements with the Zionist entity. The call was published in a press release following a meeting with the Moroccan Social Front with the aim of discussing the means to adapt for the success of the protest movement under the slogan against soaring prices, repression and normalization. The Moroccan Social Front indicated that the demonstration that brings together all segments of Moroccan society is a response aimed at shedding light on the root causes behind unprecedented jump in fuel prices and food products, which is the responsibility of government, while the rich people continue to accumulate wealth in this period, among other things, exploitation, excessive working class, plunder and rent.
كما قلنا سابقا
Every time the social, economic and political situation is in crisis in Morocco and starts to worsen, the reaction of the dictatorial Makhzen is clear. It adapts the headlock rush in order to sow doubt among civilians. We have noticed it moreover with each deterioration of the situation. The Makhzen tries to push the young people towards illegal migration, far from the Moroccan fascist regime.
The popular movement also aims to demand the lowering of fuel prices and the nationalization of Samir refinery to contribute to the kingdom's energy security, as well as the restitution of looted funds, including 1.6 billion euros that were dilapidated by the hydrocarbon lobby. The organizers also aim through this protest movement to denounce the repression through which the Moroccan regime intends to curb the protest movement and spread fear in order to silence all opposing voices. They believe that this protest movement would also be an opportunity to denounce the normalization agreement with the Zionist entity, with whom the Makhzen regime seeks to conclude a military, security and intelligence alliance, as well as an opportunity to renew solidarity with the Palestinian people and adapt a law criminalizing normalization.
And with this, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for joining us.